I find it interesting, the individual lift medals. I always wonder, is there a space for that someday down the line at, IrishPF Nationals? And I think it's kind of an interesting conversation. I think Alex, yourself and myself had a couple of conversations on this. But I do like that there's individual lift medals on the, international stage. Do we see a time where we might have that in national level competition domestically?
Like, I would love for it to get to the stage where it could, but it's also like, what's the point? You know what I mean? It's like as I worded it to you earlier, and a lot of people might disagree with me, but I think like in general for like regional meets and stuff like that, like we essentially give out enough participation medals as it is, and it's like if you're in a weight class where you're giving individual lift medals like a gold, silver, and bronze in like a weight class like in Ireland, unfortunately for most people there's usually like maybe first and second, and then there's a huge gap, and then it's like everyone else in most weight classes, or else some weight classes like my own or the smaller weight classes, there's not enough people in there to even give out 3 medals per lift, you know what I mean? I think if there was a bit more depth within
a bit more depth
powerlifting
classes,
in Ireland, I think so for sure, but like
you probably see it like implemented within the juniors first.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's
and
a lot
then
of depth
in
the
the
juniors.
opens.
Yeah, and but they're also a lot closer as well, in terms of totals and competitiveness and stuff. But like, I wouldn't feel, I know if I was in a position where I was competing in like the 83s or something like that, and gold, like not that this would happen, but like just for example, like gold medal squat at nationals would be somewhere in around 300 if Nam is competing, or Adam Dewan even, and then like second probably be like 270ish, and then it'd be like he could go to third and you could like squat 240 and get a bronze medal. And I wouldn't feel, what I mean?
No, I get it entirely. I think it's an interesting one because it's like at an international stage, taking it there, it obviously means a bit more, but there's such a depth of competition there.
Absolutely.
And to be able to stamp yourself as the best squatter in Europe, as the best squatter in the world, I think there's definitely a value and an argument to be made that it would still be valuable domestically, but also like that. But I would think of someone like Christine.
Yeah, because that's what I said to you. Remember, we said this earlier when we were having this conversation. I was like, I don't think there should be a first, second, third, but maybe a gold medal for
top squat,
an individual lift. You know what I mean? I think that would be cool. And like I was saying to you as well, I think a really good idea would be something like I don't know if I wouldn't even say a medal or like a plaque, but like, or even like a little badge or something like that. If you were to like break a national record, instead of just getting an email of like a little copied and pasted little fucking piece of paper being like, you broke this national record. And that's not saying that anyone's doing it wrong. It's more so just saying like, you want to come away with more than just like an email to be like, you broke a record. You know what I mean? It'd be cool to have something to hold on to and kind of
something that you can put up on your wall.
Because it's a big deal to some people. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people who are within the sport and like maybe, if they're at that higher level, like national records don't really mean anything to them. But there's some people that like their whole entire goal is just to beat that one national record. And then when they do, you get an email. Like, It's like
you
have to go out of your
anticlimactic, like
100%. You have to go out of your own way to print it and fucking laminate it, hang it up on your wall.
But in the past, you had to email like the IrishPF to say that you broke such a record.
I'm pretty sure you still have to do that.
Yeah, so it's like you really have to go out of your way to recognise that you're after breaking it, for it then to be acknowledged and then for you to get something for it. So like a little pin or some kind of acknowledgement.
Just something.
Would be nice,
Yeah, I think personally, Kwame, you going to say something?
I was just going to say the individual lift medal could be just an extra motivator for people though. Like, if you're not going to win your weight class, but like you're in a fighting chance for a medal for one of your lifts, like you're just really good at one, like that's another thing for people to strive for.
It's more of an incentive,
It can be like a mental thing as well, where like people know there's like another goalpost and it could nearly make them push harder. It's like the way we have the records board inside the gym, and like people see that they have a chance of getting on it, and it makes people work harder sometimes because there's something within reach. It's like the way you said last week that you looked at the records board when you first started and those things were in reach for you. So it makes you work towards them. So it's all mental games,
Absolutely. And I think down the line, like I said, if we can get to a stage where like, just for example, because they're the closest people to it, but like somewhere like GB, like, you know what I mean? They're all of their weight classes are relatively stacked and close enough to each other, besides the odd few outliers, of course, but that's everywhere you go. But like we see it like internationals all the time, like those
That's
fighting
the best of the
fighting
best.
for those single lift medals also changes the day entirely for everybody.
yeah.
So it makes it more interesting. But I think when you don't have enough
Depth.
depth within the standards or the weight class, it's just kind of you're just giving out medals for free.
Yeah.
You know, in that kind of way. That's how I look at it. You know,
Definitely pros and cons to be made on. There's an argument to be made on both sides of it. I think it's something I would like to see down the line, because I think it would make for an interesting change of dynamics on the day of how things could go. But like that, right now, it's probably also a case that you're going to turn up, whoever wins some of the weight classes is going to take first place on all 3 lifts,
100%.
which again kind of takes away from it a little bit. Now it could, for someone fighting for second or third, it does make for an interesting battle. But I think it's just about developing more, and we're starting to get a lot more depth in the class. I think it'd be interesting to see something like that down the line.